Hello and welcome to Dishing Delights. My name is Jenica and today I'm going to share with you another What's for Dinner video. Now let's get into it. So this is an exciting start for this week's What's for Dinner because my husband just came home with a bag of red skin potatoes, a couple portobello mushrooms, and some steak. So he has the grill getting ready to go right now. What I'm going to do is add, I think, a little bit of salt and pepper. I want to ask him what he wants on this. Wash and cut up my veggies, and then I'm going to make a foil pack with them. I'm going to add some of this Montreal steak seasoning that I got from Azure. I'm just going to add this on one side, and then once he puts it on the grill, he'll add it to the other side. All right, I am going to cook this in a cast iron skillet on the grill. I have a little bit of butter, a couple tablespoons. Going to add that to the bottom. Going to add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to set that aside, and as I cut my veggies, I'll add it to this pan. Now I know most people say that it is a no-no to put their cast iron skillet on the grill. I've never had an issue, but I am not the law on how to cook. I do a lot of things I probably shouldn't do in the kitchen. I like to keep my mushrooms a little bit on the chunky size. And you always want to make sure that you cut your veggies so that they cook through at a similar time. All right, here are our delicious veggies. I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to season the other side of this, just that way it's out of the way. And then I am going to shred up some cheese because I'm going to top this veggie mixture with cheese at the end. And I want to shred some extra for the rest of the week. Also to this, I'm going to add in some of this jalapeno, garlic jalapeno. Now I have never had this before. I figured I'd open this. We have a friend over tonight, so kind of want to try it. This is the Azure Standard raw cheddar cheese. I took a good chunk off. This is 5.3 pounds. Wow, it cuts really nice. Let's try it out. My mouth is watering. Mmm. There we go. That's a perfect amount. All right, I'm taking these down to the grill and then we'll get dinner started. We live on a property that has a river that runs through it, so we have this charcoal grill sitting right by the river, and we love to come down here, especially in the springtime when the mosquitoes are not that bad, and grill out. But we had a friend over tonight, so we decided just to come down here, grill our steaks and potatoes, and just enjoy the fabulous weather we've been having. The last time that we made steaks down here, we ended up burning them, so we made sure that we set that timer this time, and they ended up turning out absolutely perfect. My husband and I shared one, our friend had one, and then we ended up saving one for dinner tomorrow night, and I will show you what we make with that later. And as you can see here at the end, as my husband was pulling off those steaks, I was just topping that potato mixture with some cheese, and that is what's for dinner. I didn't end up showing you anything plated up because we were just enjoying our night with our friends, but this was a delicious meal. And the next night we made some homemade steak and mushroom pizza. And I usually make big batches of pizza dough all at once, and then I freeze 3 or 4 rolls of pizza dough at a time. But this time I didn't have any in the freezer, and I just decided to really quickly throw a pizza dough into the bread machine. I just put the pizza dough on dough cycle and I add in my ingredients. I just pulled a quick pizza dough recipe off the internet. I will link that down below. And it really helps once you're making one to make more than one. Of course, I didn't do that, so do as I say, not as I do. All right, we are going to make some pizza. So I have this 6-pound block of cheese. I have mushrooms sauteing on the stove. I have the oven preheating as high as it will go at 550 degrees. I'm gonna shred my cheese, and then we are going to make a steak and mushroom pizza. Whoa, that made a whole lot of shredded cheese. I'm definitely not gonna have to use all of this. Now I have the steak. I'm gonna pull most of the fat off. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to trim this into thinly sliced pieces. I made this pizza dough earlier this morning. This was a new recipe, I believe. I just Googled pizza dough recipe for the bread machine and just used the first one that popped up since I didn't have any in the freezer. We haven't been having a lot of cheese, but I just ordered a bunch from Azure Standard, and so we can make some pizzas again. This kind of, I don't know if this is gonna work. I used some whole wheat, and I think that it might turn out a little bit different, but you know what? That's all right. It's still gonna be edible. So interesting though. I'm just gonna use regular pasta sauce. We do not like our pizza very saucy, so we're just gonna do light sauce. I'm going to add some of my cheese. And I'm gonna add my steak, then my sauteed mushrooms. We don't mind a fully loaded pizza, so we're gonna add them all. Now I just went and got some basil. Here's some lemon basil and some Italian basil. So I have some basil on half of mine. I'm also gonna make a balsamic glaze. I'm just gonna reduce some balsamic vinegar, and as soon as the oven is preheated, I'm gonna add this to the cast iron pan. I am going to sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese over top. I did take some melted butter and I just covered the crust in that with a little bit of salt. And then once that cast iron pan was heated through, I added some cornmeal right onto the pan, and that just helps it not stick. And then I tossed the pizza right on top of that and put it in the oven for 12 minutes on 550 degrees. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good! So good! There is my balsamic glaze that I just got all over. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh baby! Oh my gosh, hot! Oh, this looks so good. All right, I gotta get it out of there. There is our delicious pizza. I'm gonna let it cool for about 5 minutes and then we will cut into it. Oh my gosh, that looks so amazing. And this is our delicious dinner. Unfortunately, I just went a little bit overboard with my balsamic glaze, so I reduced it a little bit too much. But that's fine. Maybe I'll make some more for my leftovers tomorrow. But that is what's for dinner. For the next few days, we made some slow cooker barbecue chicken sandwiches. For this barbecue chicken, all I did was add some barbecue sauce, some chicken, and a couple tablespoons of water. That way it didn't get too dry, because I am one of those people that says I'm gonna put it on for 4 hours and I end up forgetting it. All right, so this has been going for about 4.5 hours. I'm just going to see. We can definitely shred this up. I'm going to shred it up and then toss it back in with a little bit more barbecue sauce because my husband is not going to be home for another 1.5 hours. Still keeping these pieces a little bit bigger than shredded. Then I'm going to add another like 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce. Make it saucy. And what I'll do is I will just set this on warm and it'll be ready for him when he gets home. All right, my husband just came in here like a tornado and made himself a sandwich. Left the bag of buns open. Honestly, why do we need men? I'm going to heat up a can of green beans. I'm going to make myself a sandwich, and that is what's for dinner. Just gonna heat my green beans up. Now, I'm actually not a big fan of barbecue sauce. Just gonna add a little bit of mayonnaise. And that is tonight's super simple dinner. My favorite thing about slow cooker sandwich recipes is there's never an argument the next night when we have to eat them for dinner. So we did end up eating barbecue chicken sandwiches again. The next night we had corn as the side because that's what my husband requested. And I just added on some cheese tonight to make it a little bit different. And for tonight's dinner, we are going to make some chicken fajitas. To start off, I'm just going to take some taco seasoning and I'm going to add that to my bowl. I am then going to cut up 2 chicken breasts. I'm going to make them into the size pieces that I want, like regular fajita size pieces. I am going to add that into my taco seasoning. Then I'm going to top it with a little bit more. And then we are going to grill these up in a cast iron skillet. I have some frozen peppers in the freezer that really need to be used up. So I'm going to pull them out of the freezer. I'm going to add them to my cast iron pan first. And then once those are starting to cook down, I'm going to add my chicken. And then I'm just going to cook the chicken until it is completely cooked through. Now that my peppers and my chicken are cooked, I'm going to add one of my homemade cans of refried beans, and I'm going to cook that up on the stovetop while I make up my fajitas. As you can see, these refried beans come together in less than 5 minutes and they are perfect every single time. I will never buy store-bought again. The next meal we're gonna make is Cajun chicken with rice pasta sides and peas. The garden has been in full swing, so it's really nice to have a very stocked pantry so I can come in and pull together a meal in less than 20 minutes. And tonight was one of those nights that I had to do it because it was a night that I had to get in the garden and weed. And I always think it's gonna take 2 hours and I end up out there for 4 to 6 hours. So tonight I just made my pasta sides or my rice sides according to package directions. I grabbed out 2 chicken breasts and I just covered that in some Cajun seasoning and I just added this to the air fryer. I think it takes like 12 minutes on 370 degrees. I just use my meat thermometer and I check it as I go because I do not want to overcook my chicken. And then after that, I finished up my rice side. I made some peas because peas was our veggie of choice tonight. And everything just came together so quickly. And for some reason, my husband raved about this meal. Like, it's always the simplest meals that he loves the most. So this was a winner in my book. to stick with that theme of quick and easy, I ended up taking some of that leftover chicken that has some taco seasoning on it. I added that to my cast iron skillet, cooked that up, and then I just added 2 cans of green beans, and that was tonight's super simple dinner: chicken and green beans. Super easy and super delicious. This is another way that we are eating down that cupboard by taking 2 cans of green beans and pulling those out. So later on this year, we could put fresh green beans from the garden in our food storage. So I am so excited for that. And that concludes this week's What's for Dinner. It was a super simple one, but I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for watching.